Imagine reaching 75 with a bank balance that proves you were responsible and a body that can no longer do the things you saved the money to enjoy. The trip is affordable now, the climb is not. Your schedule is finally empty. The people you wanted beside you have schedules, families, illnesses, or lives somewhere else. Here is the uncomfortable question. What if you can save money wisely and still spend your life badly? That is the tension at the center of Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. This is not a command to empty your account. It is a challenge to stop treating money as the final score, when money is only one currency. The other two are time and health, and unlike money, they cannot always be earned back. Before we begin, think of one experience you keep postponing. Not a fantasy mansion, something real. Visiting your parents, learning to swim, taking your child somewhere new, changing careers, or spending one uninterrupted week with someone you love. What exactly are you waiting for? This independent summary will explore Perkins' ideas, test their limits, and turn them into a safer framework you can use without gambling with retirement. Because the goal is not to die with $0. The goal is to reach the end with as little unlived life as possible. 1. The number you were taught to maximize. Most financial advice begins with accumulation. Earn more, spend less, invest the difference. Repeat for decades. The logic is strong because insecurity is expensive, emergencies are real, and compound growth rewards patience. But there is a quiet assumption beneath that advice. More money later will always be more useful than money now. Is that actually true? Picture two versions of the same person. At 32, she has energy, close friends in the same city, and parents healthy enough to travel. At 67, she has more money, but her closest friends live across the country. One parent is gone, and a knee problem has turned long walks into negotiations. The vacation costs less relative to her wealth at 67, but the experience itself may be worth less because the ingredients that made it meaningful have changed. Perkins argues that the usual financial scoreboard, net worth, misses this. He asks readers to consider net fulfillment. How effectively did your resources become a life you were actually present for? That does not make saving foolish. It makes saving incomplete. A plan that protects your money but ignores the expiration dates on your abilities is not fully optimized. Think about your own plan. Does it contain precise targets for income and retirement, but vague language for living? Someday we'll travel. Later I'll slow down. Or when work settles, I'll be there more. Someday is not a date. Later is not a strategy. And work rarely announces that it is finally settled. This is the first shift. Money is not wealth until it becomes security, freedom, contribution, or experience. Until then, it is stored possibility, useful, powerful, but still unused. Interactive check. If your income stopped tonight, what would frighten you more? The bills you couldn't pay or the life you would realize you kept postponing? Your honest answer shows whether you need more financial protection, more permission to live, or both. There is another number hidden behind net worth, the cost of maintaining the identity your income has purchased. The larger home, premium subscriptions, private memberships, cars, devices, and social expectations may each be affordable. Together, they can make a person with a high income feel unable to pause. This is lifestyle expansion, but the deeper problem is psychological. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's baseline. The raise that was supposed to create freedom is absorbed by a life that now requires the raise. Run a thought experiment. If your income doubled, but your free time fell by half, would you call yourself twice as wealthy? If your answer is no, your true definition of wealth already includes time. Your financial plan should admit it. Now reverse the experiment. If you could buy back one ordinary evening every week for the next 10 years, what would those 500 evenings become? Dinners with family, a stronger body, a skill, a business, rest that prevents burnout. The most important purchase may not look impressive. It may simply create room. 2. Experiences can keep paying you. One of the book's most memorable ideas is the memory dividend. A meaningful experience doesn't end when the event ends. It can continue paying through recollection, identity, stories, relationships, and the choices it inspires. Think about a day from years ago that you still mention. Perhaps it was a cheap road trip, a difficult climb, the first meal in a new country, or an afternoon with someone who is no longer here. The original event lasted hours. Its emotional return may have lasted years. Now compare that with a purchase you barely remember. The price may have been higher, but its psychological half-life was short. Perkins' point is not that experiences are automatically noble and objects are automatically shallow. A guitar can create decades of experience. A comfortable chair can make daily life better. An expensive trip taken for social media can be emotionally empty. The useful distinction is not object versus experience. It's consumption that keeps creating value versus consumption that stops at the receipt. Ask yourself, which purchases in your life continued to give something back after the payment was forgotten? This question changes how you spend. Instead of asking, "Can I afford it?" you begin asking, "What will this create?" Will it deepen a relationship, expand your ability, buy back attention, improve health, create a memory that becomes part of the family language? There is also a timing effect. An experience at 25 can influence choices for 50 years. The same experience at 75 may still be wonderful, but it has fewer years to compound. Starting a creative practice earlier can shape identity. Repairing a relationship earlier creates more shared life. Learning to care for your body earlier returns more capable years. But there is a trap here. Memory dividends can become a beautiful excuse for irresponsible spending. A luxury weekend financed by high-interest debt may produce memories, but it also produces months of pressure. That pressure is part of the experience's true cost. So use a fuller equation: emotional return minus financial stress, recovery time, and opportunity cost. A meaningful experience should add life without secretly repossessing your future. You can make this practical by building an experience portfolio. Choose 4 categories: relationships, growth, contribution, and wonder. Relationships include time that deepens connection. Growth includes learning, health, courage, or capability. Contribution includes helping someone while your help can matter. Wonder includes experiences that interrupt routine and make you feel present. Look at the last year. Which category received most of your money and time? Which received almost nothing? The goal is not equal spending, it's intentional distribution. A life can be financially diversified and emotionally concentrated in only work. That is still a concentration risk. And remember that memorable doesn't mean expensive. Cooking a family recipe with the person who knows it, asking your parents to record their stories, hiking before sunrise, or protecting one recurring afternoon with a child can create a larger memory dividend than a luxury purchase made while distracted. Ask a sharper question before spending. Will I be present enough to receive the experience I'm buying? 3. Every dream has an expiration date. We often behave as though experiences are products sitting safely on a shelf. When we're ready, we'll take them down. But most experiences have windows. There is a period when your children want your attention before they prefer their friends, a period when your parents can travel, a period when your body recovers quickly, a period when a friendship is close enough to become lifelong, a period when changing careers is easier because your obligations are smaller. The window may be long, it is still a window. Perkins proposes time buckets. Divide the future into age ranges and place desired experiences in the periods that make the most sense. This forces vague intentions to meet biology and reality. Try it now. Think about the next 5 years. Which 3 experiences require your current health? Which require a particular person to still be available? Which become harder if delayed by 10 years? Notice what this exercise does. It does not tell you to do everything immediately. It helps you identify sequence. Some goals need money first. Others need courage first. Some need a phone call this week, not a larger portfolio. Here is a modern example. A couple spends 15 years saying they will take a long trip after the mortgage is smaller. Financially, that's defensible, but during those years, one partner becomes the primary caregiver for an aging parent. The money arrives, the freedom does not. That is why planning only for affordability is incomplete. A usable opportunity requires money, time, health, and coordination. Lose any one of them and the experience changes. Your calendar is therefore a financial document. It shows whether your earning strategy and your living strategy ever meet. Look at the last 3 months. Did your calendar contain anything your future self will be grateful happened? Or was it entirely maintenance, meetings, errands, scrolling, recovery, repeat? Do not judge yourself. Diagnose the system. Some windows close gradually, which makes them easy to ignore. You do not wake one morning with a notification that says, "Last year you could comfortably carry your child." A parent does not receive an alert announcing the final summer when the whole family's calendars will align. This is why urgency should come from specificity, not panic. Create 3 columns. In the first, write experiences that depend on physical ability. In the second, write experiences that depend on another person's availability. In the third, write experiences whose value grows when begun early. Friendships, skills, creative work, health practices. Circle one item whose window is moving fastest. Then estimate the smallest meaningful version you can do within 12 months. Not the perfect version, the real version. You are not predicting death, you are respecting change. 4. The danger of living on autopilot. Most people do not consciously decide to delay life. Delay is the default setting of a busy system. You get a promotion, so the standard of living rises. The standard rises, so the income feels necessary. The income feels necessary, so taking time away feels dangerous. What began as ambition quietly becomes dependency. The book's challenge is especially sharp for high performers because their ability to accumulate can disguise their inability to stop. There is always another target, a larger emergency fund, a better return, one more property, a safer number. When does enough begin? If you cannot answer, the finish line will move every time you approach it. But enough is not a universal number. For a person with unstable income, dependence, medical risk, or no safety net, enough may require years of disciplined saving. For someone already secure, not enough may be an emotional reflex created by childhood scarcity, comparison, or fear of losing status. The same bank balance can represent wisdom in one life and avoidance in another. Use this question. What specific problem will the next unit of money solve? If the answer is clear, debt, housing security, health care, caregiving, emergency reserves, keep building. If the answer is only, I will feel safer, ask how much evidence your fear would require. Fear without a defined threshold can consume every future raise. Here is another interruption. If you received a 20% raise tomorrow, how much of it would deliberately improve your life and how much would disappear into a larger version of the same routine? Without an answer, Income growth can increase the cost of the cage without opening its door. 5. Where the book can be dangerous. Now we need to challenge the title. Die with Zero is memorable marketing. It is not a literal instruction suitable for everyone. No one knows the date of death. Healthcare costs are uncertain. Markets fall. Families need support. People live longer than expected. Income can disappear earlier than planned. A philosophy designed by a wealthy investor can also underestimate how different risk feels when one medical bill or job loss can destabilize a household. So the mature interpretation is not spend everything, it is stop accumulating without examining what the accumulation is for. Before increasing discretionary spending, protect basic guardrails, expensive debt under control, an emergency reserve appropriate to your situation, essential insurance, retirement planning, and a margin for dependence and health uncertainty. When professional financial advice is needed, use a qualified advisor who understands your full circumstances. Then separate 3 kinds of money. Safety money protects survival. Freedom money buys options and control over time. Living money funds experiences, relationships, learning, generosity, and health while the window is open. The mistake is not having safety money. The mistake is allowing every dollar to report to safety even after the safety system is strong. Be honest. Are you underprotected or are you over-defended? One condition requires discipline. The other requires permission. There is also a sequence problem. Some listeners hear the title and imagine spending first, planning later. Reverse that order. First, define the floor beneath your life. Essential monthly costs, emergency reserves, debt obligations, insurance, dependents, and a retirement range. Then identify resources above that floor that are being accumulated without a named purpose. Give the surplus an assignment. Some goes to future freedom, some goes to near-term living, some goes to generosity, some stays uncommitted because uncertainty is real. This creates a plan you can explain to your future self. You are not stealing from tomorrow, you are allowing tomorrow and today to negotiate honestly. If you share finances with a partner, do not use this philosophy as a unilateral spending license. One person may value experience while the other carries a stronger fear of scarcity. Put both fears on the table. Agree on guardrails and a living budget together. A memory funded by betrayal is not a dividend. 6. Give when the gift can change a life. The book also questions the timing of inheritance and generosity. Money passed to someone at the end of the giver's life may arrive after the recipient's most financially sensitive years. A smaller gift during education, a first home, a health crisis, or the early stages of a business may have more impact than a larger gift decades later. This idea applies beyond money. Advice given when requested matters more than advice delivered after the decision. Time offered during a crisis matters more than praise after recovery. Appreciation spoken now does more work than admiration kept private. Who in your life could benefit from something you are planning to give eventually? The answer might be money. It might be attention, an introduction, forgiveness, knowledge, or one day without your phone. Giving earlier does not mean giving recklessly. It means considering impact as well as amount. A gift is not only what leaves your hands, it is what becomes possible when it arrives. 7. The 3-currency window. Here is the Rare Mind audio framework for applying the book without turning it into reckless advice. For any important experience, score 3 currencies from 1 to 5: money, time, and health. Money asks, can I do this without damaging essential security? Time asks, do I have the hours, freedom, and access to the people involved? Health asks, can my body and mind fully participate now? If all three are strong, the window is open. Stop postponing automatically. If money is weak, but time and health are strong, design a smaller version. The meaningful trip may become a local weekend. The career break may become one protected day each week. The expensive class may become a library, community, or online practice. If money is strong, but time is weak, the real purchase may be delegation, fewer commitments, or a lower standard of constant availability. If health is declining, waiting for a perfect financial moment may be the most expensive choice. Now create 4 lists. First, experiences with closing windows. Second, experiences that can safely wait. Third, security gaps that need funding. Fourth, possessions or commitments consuming money without creating real value. Choose one action from each list this month. Schedule one closing window experience and pay for it only from money that does not damage the floor. In week 4, create one repeatable rule. Your rule might be one family experience every quarter, one day of every trip without a phone, half of each unexpected bonus to future freedom and a portion to present life. One annual health-dependent goal before buying another status object. The rule should fit your reality. Its job is to prevent fear or impulse from making every decision alone. Then ask someone you trust, what do you think I am postponing that matters to me? Sometimes other people can see the unlived part of our life more clearly than we can. Do not retire from your own life. Return to the experience you named at the beginning. What exactly are you waiting for? More money? More permission? Less fear? A version of life in which nobody needs you and nothing goes wrong? That version may never arrive. The deepest lesson in Die with Zero is not about death. It is about timing. Money has value because life is finite. Saving is wise because the future matters. Living is wise because the present will not remain available indefinitely. Your task is not to choose between responsibility and experience. It is to stop using responsibility as a hiding place from experience. Build safety, protect the future, but remember what the future is for. One day, your calendar will contain fewer possibilities than your bank account. Before that day arrives, make sure some of what you earned became time with people you loved, work that mattered, health you protected, places you noticed, and memories that continued paying long after the receipt disappeared. Do not aim to leave with nothing. Aim to leave nothing important unlived. This has been a Rare Mind audio summary and commentary on Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. It is not the full book or a substitute for the original work. Read or purchase the book for Perkins's complete arguments, stories, and tools. And before you move on, answer one final question. What will you stop postponing while the window is still open? Do not retire from your own life. Return to the experience you named at the beginning. What exactly are you waiting for? More money? More permission? Less fear? A version of life in which nobody needs you and nothing goes wrong? That version may never arrive. The deepest lesson in Die with Zero is not about death. It is about timing. Money has value because life is finite. Saving is wise because the future matters. Living is wise because the present will not remain available indefinitely. Your task is not to choose between responsibility and experience. It is to stop using responsibility as a hiding place from experience. Build safety, protect the future, but remember what the future is for. One day, your calendar will contain fewer possibilities than your bank account. Before that day arrives, make sure some of what you earned became time with people you loved, work that mattered, health you protected, places you noticed, and memories that continued paying long after the receipt disappeared. Do not aim to leave with nothing. Aim to leave nothing important unlived. This has been a Rare Mind audio summary and commentary on Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. It is not the full book or a substitute for the original work. Read or purchase the book for Perkins's complete arguments, stories, and tools. And before you move on, answer one final question. What will you stop postponing while the window is still open?